While attending this year's AIDS conference in Toronto, it becomes very obvious that one man is on the mind of every participant. Stephen Lewis, the United Nations Special Envoy to AIDS in Africa and former NDP party leader, has become one of the world's top advocates for the pandemic that is plaguing sub-Saharan Africa. Known increasingly for his open criticism of the inaction of the Western world, he still remains hopeful that AIDS can and will be beaten.
Measure because of the treatment, because now that you've got more than 1 million people in treatment internationally, and a lot of them in Africa, there is a quotient of hope that wasn't there before.
Last year, Lewis published his Massey lecture series entitled Race Against Time, where he discussed his experiences in Africa, most explicitly his fight for women's rights.
The entire pandemic is driven by gender inequality. There's no question about that. And the huge and disproportionate vulnerability of women is painful, very painful. So you have to have laws against sexual violence that work and are enforced. You have to have laws on property rights and inheritance rights and economic empowerment and income-generating projects and political representation. You have to create an entire panoply through which women's empowerment can be achieved. And then
Lewis will be stepping down from his position at the end of this year, but insists that his fight for Africa is not over. He will continue to push for stronger support for those affected by AIDS.
I don't intend to be stilled or be removed. Nothing's going to stop me until this battle is done.
While the battle for Stephen Lewis continues through this conference, he remains optimistic that the war on AIDS can still be won.
There'll be a different feel to this conference, and the feel will flow from the reality of treatment and everybody getting better, going back to work and gaining weight, and fewer orphans because the parents are still alive.